let's begin our discussion of the Thunderclap. Thunderclap, Thunderclap, ho! And that sound means it's the start of another Missal for the masses. I'm your host, Gary.
And I'm Casey.
And this is the Chaps and Sisters Motor Pod, the podcast that's centered around the vehicles, playsets, and even trailers of the G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero toy line. And we also talk about the comic books of G.I. Joe and the related properties like the Energon universe. And we also, on occasion, are known to feature other military and adventure toy lines and comic books like the Robo Skull behind me, probably coming up in the future, and Delta 17 and maybe Operation Recall and all those aligned. So I'm going to begin this week with what's going on in my world of collecting. And Casey, thanks again for having me on this morning. Do your 1992 show. It was a blast because that was the year I was collecting.
Yeah,
and you were
it was fun. There. Yeah, it's not a year I'm familiar with, so it was fun to do the research and found a few figures I really want to get now. So that's, it's just all part of the fun.
Yeah, that's the neon 90s for Casey. So, Casey, do you have? In another world of collecting news, two Robo Skulls behind me. Well, the boxes are. The rest is upstairs, and I'm getting ready to put the stickers on the regular Mark II.
They're stickers. I was hoping they'd be tampoed.
No, they are tampoed, but there's a couple like glow in the dark stickers, like ghost flames and stuff. So I haven't figured out how I'm going to do it. There's some good things on the Skeletron Facebook group, and going to line it up and make it look pretty.
Yeah, I'm not good with stickers, but I can't wait to get mine.
So what's going on with you, Casey? What do you got? Anything you want to share today, or
just like I showed off this morning, I've got my Sidewinder from Action Force and a couple of the Garrison Cavalry, and really excited to have those. And look who's here.
Hi, Ronnie. Good evening.
G'day, Ronnie.
So is it like in the morning, it's late at night for him, and then now we're late at night here? Is it early morning for Ronnie?
I don't know. Ronnie, how's that work? What time is it? He'll tell us.
So if this is your first time listening to the Chaps and Sisters Motor Pod, when we talk vehicles, playsets, or trailers, we go, it's 1:45 p.m. Oh, that's awesome.
Afternoon. That's nice.
So we start off, we talk about the box, what the marketing is for the vehicle. We talk about, then we move on to the driver, the figure. Then we go into the blueprints, and then we talk about the vehicle itself. Now, before we start with the box, Casey, so you've had your Thunderclap for a little while at least. How do you have your Thunderclap?
I have it displayed behind me. You really can't see it because it's right above those two pictures. My wife got it for me. I want to say it was for our anniversary. It's either our anniversary or my birthday for that year. Because she was always getting me G.I. Joe stuff that I would ask for off eBay. And I love it. I think it's great.
So I've had mine for a while. I think at one point I had 3 of them. And all 3 were missing something. And I managed to put one together 100%. I had another one I got together almost 100%, and I sold it to a friend. Now I have one parts one left, and that's going to be the last to go, I guess. This is a big vehicle.
It is.
It takes up some real estate.
Yeah, when I got mine, it wasn't complete, but I managed to complete it over a course of a couple of years, and friends finding me parts that I needed. So it's complete now, and it's one of my favorite pieces of my collection.
Yeah, it's definitely some awesome stuff. Yeah, so I did a little research this morning, and there's a great book series currently, basically getting clearanced out at creatinggijoe.com. It's the Creating GI Joe book series by Dan Klingensmith. So he has a table of contents on the website. So I go on that and I'm like, which one of the 15 volumes
Right.
of books has it? And a quick, you know, for me now, it's, I want to say Control F, but Command F on my Mac, and, search for Thunderclap, and it boom pops up. It's on volume 11 of the book. Have it right here, pulled it out. And so I think, Casey, you know this, but for the listeners, it is based on the M65 atomic cannon, which was essentially an artillery piece designed to fire off atomic weapons, atomic warheads. So it just, you know, absolutely bonkers military real world developing into an absolute bonkers G.I. Joe toy. But I think by 1989, it really wasn't that bonkers.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, it reminded me of I don't know if I've seen it in a movie or a documentary, but World War II, Germany had a big cannon that they would drive around on a train.
Yes.
That's what it reminds me of. Except for this has two little buggies that move it around.
But yeah, but that is actually a feature of the M65 was it basically had two very large, military vehicles. They weren't, as ornate as what the Thunderclap got. Very, traditional, like heavy moving trucks. Look almost like cab over engines. So I think the next thing is to take a look at the box. So the Thunderclap from Hasbro, three vehicles in one. The visuals here pulling off of 3D Joe's. Thank you, Carson Metaxas, for a wonderful, wonderful resource as well. You got the box, the Thunderclap on a large desert, and it's showing off firing the gun above the G.I. Joe banner. You got the explosion, three vehicles in one. You got the two vehicles, the front vehicle and the rear vehicle, they're firing off. And then in the front foreground, you have the giant Thunderclap gun. It's ejecting a shell. Let's think about all the different characters that are on this. You got Rock and Roll version 2. He's in one of I think it's the aft gun. Next to him, God, is that Backblast?
I really can't see. I've never seen the box before. This is really neat.
There we go. Does that help you?
A little bit. I think it's mostly because I'm old.
Yeah, but I want to say Backblast is next to Rock and
Okay,
Roll.
yeah.
You got Stalker version 2. He's loading up another shell. And then in the control panel alongside, you have Recoil. And then underneath the main gun, you got Downtown. There's a character nobody ever talks about.
Yeah.
He's next to somebody else. I can't make out who. Then in the lower box, we have in the corner the figure long range, and then you have a little visual of three vehicles attached. Three vehicles in one. Oh, before we get to the back of the box, Casey, what do you think of the front of the box?
I think it looks pretty cool.
It's a nice painterly image, but I wouldn't say it's like it shows me the toy, but it doesn't really like grab me as much as some of the other ones do.
I don't know. I mean, it shows you can defend all areas with one with the Thunderclap. They're kind of like circling, protecting. A lot of action to this picture. The shell popping out. I like it.
All right. Going to go to the back of the box. There's a lot on the back of the box. I'll read off. It's 5 flag points. I guess important. It's one of those white cardboard boxes. We have Thunderclap, G.I. Joe, a real American hero. With Cobra cluster bombs exploding all around, Thunderclap's cannon positions its barrel for a long-range retaliatory strike. The vehicle's 2-track scout craft separate from the main body to attack Cobra's forward observation target spotters. Go around the vehicle. It has the lead vehicle. It points out the rolling wheels and the track treads. And on the rear vehicle, it points out the antenna and 6 rolling wheels. There's also the note that it's super realistic detail. And then we get to the main gun itself. You have removable cannon shells, machine guns, sturdy construction for rugged play. Gun tub holds 3 figures. All right. And now my eyes are now bad now. But you have pivoting support legs. We have another gun tub holds 2 figures. Pivoting missile rack. Sliding ejector mechanism discharges shells from cannon. And then we have elevating cannon barrel extends for short, medium, and long range firepower. And then outlined in red, important, enclose top secret blueprints of an actual Thunderclap. Add them to your G.I. Joe command files.
Oh, pretty cool. And Dagon's back. Said he watched some
Hey.
bad football games.
So Dagon compares this to another favorite of yours, Casey, the Cobra Maggot.
I do love the Maggot.
The back of the box, it's telling me what's going on. I don't know. Casey, is this back speaking to you more than it is to me?
And it's just a basic, shows you the breakdown of the Thunderclap. It's informative, but it's not eye-catching.
Yeah, I think the big thing with the Thunderclap is there's actually a lot more to this vehicle than what is on the box.
Yeah.
But I think really the toy itself has a lot more going on for it, and it would actually probably fill up the entire back of the box.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So going to move on to the driver, the included driver, long range. So this is 1989. This is all the Joes are from Rhode Island. Long range, we'll get into long range. We'll talk about the card. We'll talk a little bit about how he's doing in the comics. So long range was designed by Dave Hazel. This is from Creating G.I. Joe book. And it was also the first character Dave Hazel designed for G.I. Joe. Basically, the design showing in Creating G.I. Joe is very close to what we actually got on the toy. It might be the final presentation artwork. You got a lot going on with this guy. I'll read off the file card. Codename Long Range Thunderclap Driver. File name Fritz Carl W. Primary military specialty Thunderclap Driver. Secondary military specialty artillery. Birthplace Warwick, Rhode Island. Grade E7. Long Range was a kid who never grasped simple arithmetic. He did, however, master complex trigonometric and calculus problems with ease. When he was old enough, Long Range joined the Army, in particular, the Artillery Corps. It was here that he utilized his trigonomic capabilities to plot the trajectory of artillery shells aimed at long distance targets. In no time, he amassed the highest percentage rate of on target knockouts the Corps had ever seen. That is why he is commonly referred to as the Knockout Man.
Nice.
Now, Knockout Man's in quotes. So, by calling somebody the Knockout Man, wouldn't that constitute a code name? Instead of just calling him long range. This is how you can tell this is definitely not like a Larry Hama file card. Long range can drop around on a dinner plate at a range of 15 miles in one attempt, given an accurate topological map and up to the minute wind and barometric pressure readings. In layman's terms, that means he can fire around from the outfield of Giants Stadium in the New Jersey Meadowlands, and it will land directly on second base in Shea Stadium in Flushing, New York. Incredible.
That's accurate.
Yeah. Oh. Casey, what are your thoughts on the file card describing long range?
I've never seen a file card before, so I don't know. I guess I kind of like the math angle, but to me, it should be like at least secondary should be sniper because that's how they use them in the comics in the IDW, and that's how I use them.
Yeah, the big thing is, with a card like this, you're almost like you get him to be, you get to really imagine his personality because the card really is just talking about his ability. So you don't really have a lot about personality. Like, is he cool under pressure? Is he a jokester? Is he, you don't get a lot of that. So you're kind of free to create him. Like you said, and, you imagine him as he's been reimagined as a sniper. I'm looking at his helmet, and the helmet to me is just like, it's like a high tech helmet, but it reminds me of windmill. So
Hmm.
it's like it's got those funky wings, but it's really not wings. It's like one side's on his left is a flashlight, and on his right is like, I don't know, like sensors. So, and if you're shooting at something 30 miles away, I don't care who you are, what helmet's going to help you see that far away?
Right.
It's, I think it's helpful, but he would need to have the high ground in order to really use the things, the helmet to its advantage. The figure itself, talk about the figure itself. So it's typical 1989 construction, ball neck, swivel arm, battle grip. He has gray boots that are thigh high. They come up to his dark gray pants. He has a black holster and sidearm on his right thigh. He has a green belt, like two green belts, with a grenade over his right hip. He's got a gray torso, all molded in one color. It has some nice detailing with buttons up the right side of his breast. He's got space for, I want to say, ammo magazines underneath his left arm, and he's got like some leather texture on the top. The arms are molded in green with gray gloves. It looks like he has sleeves and a little detail on that. He is a redhead. He's a ginger, as Ronnie Trickshot likes. And he's got a red beard, red eyes, and red eyebrows. I like this figure.
Me too. I like it a lot. If they made a classified of them, I would buy it. And I don't do a lot classified.
Yeah, they better give him a sniper rifle too.
They better. I had to get one for Marauders to put on them.
Well, I'm eyeing Preacher over in my the peripheral of my right eye, and
Yeah,
I can always add his sniper rifle.
yeah, that's a good one.
But long range with the Thunderclap also came with a sidearm,
It did.
and he came with an automatic pistol with, I'm going to try to get it in the frame here, with a futuristic scope Now it's nice. It looks like it's based off the Colt 1911. It is just a nice size. It's scaled very well for a GI Joe figure.
Yeah, I'm missing that gun, so I replaced it with the sniper rifle.
I think you could do worse.
Upgraded.
Yeah, it's kind of loose in the hand, but I'm just going to try to get it to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's just a nice sculpt with the sights, with the hammer.
Yeah, a lot of the handguns were way too big for the Joes. That one looks like it fits like pretty good size.
As vehicle drivers go, this one is, some vehicle drivers are like, the deluxe figures. Some are bare bones simple. We can think of, Armadillo for the Thunder Machine is probably the most boring driver known to man. But, you know, you're getting the driver. He comes with an accessory, the helmet, and he comes with the accessory, the gun. He is essentially a full fledged figure that comes with a full fledged vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
which, this makes long range collectible as a figure on his own, makes it something that you want for your figure collection, even if you don't want the Thunderclap. So I think that speaks to the figure and just how well they did on this because they didn't need to do that with this toy.
And I bought long range before I got Thunderclap.
Okay.
I bought long range because I was reading the IDW comics and I really liked them in the story that was going on. And I found them on eBay for like $15 or something like that. And I was like, well, I'll go ahead and get that. It's pretty cool. Glad I did. Then my wife hooked me up with the Thunderclap. I was like, I already got the driver.
Yeah. Then the big thing to go back to is I guess now it's time to talk about the vehicle. For a lot of these vehicles, we always have the what do you want to say, the talking points,
Yeah,
and some of them can get really tedious. So this giant toy only has 15 points.
really.
Yeah. So the first things we're going to look at is the lead vehicle and the tail vehicle. Actually, the first one we're going to look at is the tail vehicle, the trailer vehicle. So number one on the trailer vehicle, it's pointing to essentially the nub that the main gun rests on. It's the infrared target acquisition range projector. So
Hitch.
So, okay. Number two is the single barrel rapid fire computer controlled blaster cannon. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm looking at mine.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like two barrels to me.
It does, yes.
And yeah, so this this is going to be laughable and fast. Number three is the three surface to surface delayed detonation ZPJ 79 cruise missiles. So that's those sitting on that rack. We get the number four, the synchronized digital tracking revolving turret. So just pointing out that this thing goes left and right, does not elevate like the missiles elevate.
Mm-hmm.
So then we get to number five, the armament discharge ventilation exhaust system. So it's kind of pointing to the back of the canopy here,
Okay.
but I really think they're supposed to be talking about this vent right here. So basically, it has an exhaust, and it doesn't even mention the six wheels. It's just okay.
Hey, Zazel's in the house.
Oh wow, Zazel, nice to see you.
Yeah, so Rolling Thunder has the big nuke.
Yeah. We're getting to that point. Vagon is just like chomping at the bit. He wants to see the main gun.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't? But
Yeah.
gotta eat our vegetables first.
Yes, you got it. Yeah. The running joke with my dad and me. How can you have your pudding if you don't eat your meat? But that being said, I mean, you could have good meat like steak, and you can have bad meat like liver.
Yeah. Ugh.
Oh, and another thing they don't point out too in the blueprints is they don't talk about the antenna either. Which this thing is, that's something that's broken a lot or missing altogether.
Yeah.
Was this one of the parts you had to find, Casey?
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, so there's 5 points on the trailer vehicle. Now we're going to the tractor vehicle for points 6 through 10. Number 6 is the atmospheric indicator measurement of lethal chemical elements. Wow.
It's a
And
lot
it's
of
pointing
words.
to the canopy. The windshield.
Glass.
Yeah. Atmospheric indicator. Hey, look, it's raining outside. Ooh, there's drops. Ooh, there's snowflakes. It's like that. It's the joke about the weather rock. If the weather rock is wet, it's raining.
Oh,
If the
okay.
weather rock is swinging, it's windy. We get to number 7. We get the dual-barreled pulsating MG999 assault weapon. So it's nice. They actually described it with dual barrels, so that's good.
Yeah.
And it's pulsating, but you don't get the pulsating action on this. It's just, one solid molded piece of plastic. Number 9, the missile storage enclosure stations. So it's just pointing to the missile itself. And they're not really enclosed.
Huh.
Oh, sorry. That was number 8 was the 2 multi-directional surface-to-surface low attack missiles. So these are the low
That
attack
makes
missiles.
sense. Yeah.
My bad. And number 9, the missile storage station, which is
Comes off.
no, I'm trying. It's part of the main body.
Gotcha.
Yeah. See, and I'm just flipping it over.
Nice. I don't think I've ever done that.
And then finally, for the tractor vehicle, we get number 10, the low noise, ultra sensitive enemy radar jamming modulator, which is pointing to this gray part right here.
Okay.
A little bit more about this tractor. I really want to point out you got the smokestacks right here on the top. Lovely detail. I also want to say that canopy is just so beautifully detailed with you have a center console in between the legs. You got the right side's got buttons up and down. On the left side you have like a little radar screen.
And you got a seatbelt, right?
Yeah, and a seatbelt because it's 1989.
That's right.
As a tractor vehicle, I mean you got the detail right here on the missile station. It's just pretty detailed. It's a simple toy, and here's another thing that they don't, that is always one of my things is like when is a GI Joe toy a model versus just a cheap toy? Besides the fact that the missiles fall off at first blush, is you got a detailed bottom. I mean, you got your dumbbell wheels right here, but I mean you got a drive shaft, you got a transmission. There's no reason for them to do that on this vehicle. I mean, you got this huge toy, and they're just throwing in detail after detail. A Condor bombing raid comes in and it flips it up on its side. You're still got something pleasant to look at as you play or diorama build. So it's just, it's extra. But on the trailer, you still got a nicely detailed cockpit for your character, whoever's going to be doing the trailer.
Yeah.
And you even got like a little battery in the back. It's just, there's a lot going on. You don't have the detailed bottom, but that's like I said, that's fine. I mean, you've got headlamps on this, so when it disconnects, I mean, you can just drive around and light up Cobra like to shoot at them. There's a lot of detail in these two auxiliary toys versus the main toy.
Right.
I think it's time we get to the main toy.
I think so. Dagon says, "Get to the big gun."
It stores for easy play. I mean, look at the size of this barrel. It's huge.
Right.
I mean, I can't even fit it in my screen without like going way back. And you got a breech. Take the shell.
Yep.
You just load it in the breech, and then you close the. This is a little sticky on mine. You can close the breech, and then you fire it, and it pops right out. That's
a cool feature.
The big gun. I love it. So the rest of the points are about the big gun. We have number 11, the multi-extendable, high-powered battlefield annihilator cannon. Yeah, this thing's not 15 miles. This thing's like 30 miles. When this was used in the Joe comic book, I distinctly remember them being in the forest of Sierra Gordo, and they were shooting at El Jefe and the Banana Republic, or the North American Banana Monopoly.
They were shooting into a different country, right?
Yeah, they were shooting onto the border of Sierra Gordo, so they weren't actually shooting into the other country. They aimed at it, and it was a great chase. It was a great chase book, where on one page it would be. Oh man, I wish I looked at it this morning actually too. I even looked at it and I held it. I'm like, oh okay. You think I would have read it before the podcast? No, I had other things to do today. It's the issue's titled Thunderclap.
Yeah.
And I want to say it's like 89. You get number 12, the thermal protected missile launcher with 3 surface to surface missiles.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to number 13, the geometrically proportioned launch platform stabilizer base. So that's pointing out basically the belly of the gun. Yeah. Now, they don't point it out, but you put your legs down. And this is something too. I know a lot of guys, it swivels.
Hey.
That's something that the railgun of the Germans did not do.
The Retro Tinker is here too.
Oh, cool. Welcome. Yep. Yeah, and then what do we have left? So we covered the base and 4-point titanium reinforced stabilizer legs. That's these things right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, 2 70mm rotary mini cannons with laser beam target location. Love it, love it, love it. And the only thing that would make these things even better is instead of like this giant magazine here, they were belt fed.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's the blueprints. This whole toy was designed by Greg Bernston. Do they have pegs on the? Do they have hand pegs on the guns? No, they do not. The guns are kind of manned by the computer stations by the guns. So much like the missiles are kind of done the same way. And I'm fine with that. The character doesn't always have to hold the gun. But there's just a ton of detail in this thing. There's detail in the base where the shell, things are just falling apart. I mean, this toy after 35 years is just loose as a goose. But the amount of detail they put on the floor of everything on this, this thing's just so extra. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
But so Casey, why don't you talk a little bit about what you went through with your Thunderclap? Well, like what was missing? What did you have to get? We've already discussed the antenna, but
Zazel's asking how many figures does it hold?
Let's talk seated. You can fit 1 seated in the tractor, 1 seated in the trailer. You can see 4 on the around the station. So you're up to 6. You got one gunner you can fit. So you can seat 7 figures. Now looking for foot pegs, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 foot pegs on this. So if you think 1 foot peg per character, you're up to 8 plus 7 is 15 characters.
It's an APC.
Yeah, basically. And then yeah, that's all that. So you got 15 what I would call official stations. But I would also say like you can have so many guys standing around this base just inside it. I mean, you could cart a whole platoon.
Yeah.
Just riding it on. You can take 1991 Duke and perch them on top of the cannon.
What I was missing was probably half the rockets or the missiles. One of the toppers, I think it was for the trailer. I was missing that. I was missing the antenna and both the orange guns. I was missing all that. Ended up finding most of them from Destro's Toy Den. They have bins, and Lost and Found Toys, they have bins too.
Yeah, I found that the yellow plastic, like these pegs here, these get brittle with age. My last parts one, I had to take, I had to play swap around to build the my second one. So it's they get brittle. The missiles, like you said, the missiles are easily lost. But overall, I don't think this toy as a whole is that hard to find complete. And even if it is, it's not super expensive.
Right. And it's really not that hard to find the missing parts either. I didn't think so. Do we know what this toy went for when it came out?
This originally retailed for $22.99.
Nice.
In $1989, that's a lot of toy for the money.
Mm-hmm.
But that's 10 carded figures, and you're already getting one figure that could have been carded. So you're getting all this toy for the price of 9 carded figures.
There's a lot of toy to it. And I don't know what it says about me that I love the Thunderclap and the Maggot so much. Maybe I like our artillery. I don't know. But I think they're both really cool. I think they're both very playable. And I need to get a Rolling Thunder. I don't have one. I think that'll be a purchase I'd like to make.
The Rolling Thunder is its own thing. It is overkill extreme. And that came out the year before this. That was 1988. Mm-hmm. I have both. I will tell you this. I prefer the Thunderclap to the Rolling Thunder.
Oh.
But I don't dislike the Rolling Thunder. It's just a different play pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, this thing's an artillery piece. The Rolling Thunder has ICBMs. So you can go, anywhere in your yard. You and your friends are playing in the backyard. You'd be like, hold on, I'll be right back. You go and get your Rolling Thunder, you move it to your front yard, and then you take one of the missiles off and you walk around the backyard. Pooh! Okay, all you guys are dead.
The Rolling Thunder, to me, looks like it would be something in an 80s James Bond movie or something.
Yeah, I can see that. But I can see the Thunderclap being an 80s James Bond, because James Bond to me was always that this is the future, but you don't realize how close to reality it really was.
Yeah. Definitely Roger Moore era.
Roger Moore. Yeah. Yeah, but the Rolling Thunder, I love the fact that, you plop it down and then you can spin it 360 degrees. It's just such a useful toy. And like you said, it has a play pattern. Ronnie Trickshot is,
He's a nut.
singing Cher.
Yeah. But I like Zazel's comment on the Rolling Thunder right above that. Instead of a game changer, it's a game
It's a game
ender.
ender.
I love that.
But that's a different thing. One is strategy in play, and the other one is the retro tinker being the Rolling Thunder in high school.
Nice.
All right. Well, we got a lot of space. And the box gave us some ideas. So long range, your sniper, and Thunderclap purveyor. Ronnie Trickshot had a lot of penicillin in high school. And Zazel's right. The Rolling Thunder really should have been painted blue.
Yeah. It would make more sense.
Yeah, definitely a terrorist threat and something for the G.I. Joe team to attack. So, or right now, it kind of makes Cobra sympathetic with Cobra with the Rolling Thunder. It's like, all right.
We're just a poor terrorist organization and they got nukes.
So, I'm going to let the VD jokes go on in the comments. But anyway, so long range Thunderclap, where would you put him? Where would he be primarily seated as your vehicle driver?
See, does he drive the drive part, or does he man the cannon, or does he do both?
Well, his specialty is kind of artillery. I think
Right.
he's definitely, to me, he's the guy in the gunner's seat. He's the one sitting next to the cannon.
See, in my head cannon, he's that weird helmet.
Head cannon, get it?
Yeah. It's maybe that helps with the targeting. Yeah, that's where I have him.
Yeah, I think he works as the driver, and then after he's out, he goes and then he mans the gun.
Yeah.
But driving this, trailering this, I think any one of your tankers would be fine. Hot seat, heavy metal, rampage,
Armadillo.
The Rolling Thunder's been taken out by Cobra anyway, so
Yeah. Saying you probably wouldn't have both the Rolling Thunder and the Thunderclap going on the same mission.
No, they're different. They're different missions. Yeah. I really like the way, like I said, I like the way it got used in the comic. It was way off, and then it's shot at the border. It's definitely more than just an insertion tool. This is not an insertion tool. This is a deterrent tool. This is something that would be stationed, and Cobra would be sending rattlers after it, condors after it, just to take it out, because it's such a threat. Cross country could drive it and man it. You got it's used for parades. Somebody was watching the news today. So you got those guys manning the guns. You got any one of your infantry Joes, rock and roll roadblock. Any number of Joes could do that. And then manning the missiles.
Repeater.
Yeah.
Repeater's very underrated.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, he is. But he was also the face of G.I. Joe for 1988 and 1989. He was using a lot of promotional materials.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a host of Joes that can do the support. And, I don't think you really could find a wrong person for this. Maybe not wetsuit or torpedo and shipwreck, but really any number of your ground pounder Joes, Leatherneck or something, they would be at home with the Rolling Thunder. They would set up their defensive perimeter and stuff. I like the fact that Downtown was on the box art, because Downtown, he's artillery too. He was a mortar soldier, like Short Fuse.
Mm-hmm.
To me, this futuristic toy pairs well with characters that go all the way back to 82, as well as sets you up for the 1990s and the early 90s with that much more futuristic aesthetic. And
Yeah.
Zazel has the most obvious omission
Of course,
of others.
Sarge.
Of course, the
Sarge goes with everything. And I did see where he was just confirmed for Joe Fest, so
That's
that's
right.
awesome.
Yep, announced today.
Yeah.
So when this thing finally comes out on the podcast, 5 days from now, when I get around to doing the edit. But yeah, so I mean, it's Sarge, absolutely. Anything else we should talk about the Rolling Thunder, Casey? What do you think?
I wish they would have used a little bit more in the comic book, because when they did use it, it was very effective and it did its job. But I think reading the comics what made me want to get the toy, and that's what the comic was supposed to do. It was just years later.
Yeah, the comic, especially in 1989, if this wasn't featured in Operation Dragonfire, you didn't get the toy. Really, the only media was the comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Thunderclap in the comic is awesome. Like you said, I'm glad Long Range got repurposed as a sniper, so we get a little more use out of this guy. And I just don't. I'm tapped out now. I think I've talked this thing to death.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great. I've been trying to get you to do this one for a while.
Yeah, yes, you have. So you love it. You've been trying to get me to do this for a while. So what would you rate it on a scale of 5 using your quarter scales?
I would say 4.25. I really like it. I think it's got a lot of playability. You can do a lot with it. I would give it a 5 if I was a kid still playing with Joe's and I had it then, because I know I could have done crazy stuff with it. If I had that in my play pattern back in the day, it would have been awesome.
Yeah. I'm up there with you. I'm at a solid 4. I think for play, this thing is awesome. I wish I had $23 of my mom's money in 1989. Definitely would have been something that would have been in the toy box. Definitely would have been something that would have been somewhere else in the house, dropping bombs on Cobra.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing to me that hurts it overall as a toy is it is kind of cumbersome for collectability. So I don't think every collector is going to want to get the whole toy. I think the figure collectors are going to love getting the figure. Yeah, it's definitely a buy. I'm glad everybody else likes it in the comments. Yeah, it is. It's just a solid toy. It's definitely up there.
Yeah. In my opinion, it's an underrated toy, and not a lot of people talk about it.
I will agree with that. And I think Larry should use it more in the comic.
I think it's a toy that after you have it in hand, you have more appreciation for it.
Yeah, I agree. And one more thing, I'm looking at it, and I'm going to try to I know this might be loud on the mic, but yeah, the ratcheting of this just works so nice after all these years. It's just nice holds.
Yep.
It's nice, satisfying clicks. And it's just going up and down. This is kind of wobbly, but
what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? I'm going to play with it. That's what I'm going to do.
There you go.
All right. I think that concludes this Missal for the Masses, this episode of the Chaplain's Assistance Motor Pod. Oh, and one more comment from Zazel before we close out. If we are talking Rolling Thunder, then it was awesome player and vehicle, plus a mini vehicle for the Thunderclap. It's a fun way to blow Cobra out of the water. It's epic, great for expanding imagination and play value. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And now close out this. Thank you for listening. Thank you for participating to the live chat for the raw recording before this goes out on the podcast. Probably sometime in the next week. So this will be the first podcast of December. The Chaplain's Assistance Motorpod is hosted by Spotify for creators and is also found on many of the other popular podcatchers. Please like, share, review, comment, or otherwise interact with them, as it only helps to improve and grow this podcast. For more Chaplain's Assistance Motorpod, you can find me on social media at Chaplain Joe Pod. That's Facebook, Instagram, X, or even YouTube if you're listening on the podcatcher and you want to catch the live raw recording as I do it on YouTube. And you can also send an email to chaplainjoepod@gmail.com. Now, Casey, where can they find you?
They can find me at podcastfromthepit.com. I'm so tired. It's on Gmail. Is that right, Gmail? So tired. It's been a long day. We recorded this morning at 8 a.m. But we're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We have a lively Facebook group with great questions every week. It's a good time. Instagram. We're on Instagram. We do hardly anything on X, but we're there. Yeah, check us out. We're finishing up, going year to year right now. We just did 92 this morning. So we got 93 and 94. Then we're going to have to find something else to do.
Yeah. Enjoy listening to your show. It's been great. I love catching the replays. And the Chaplain's Assistance Motorpod is the strange, but not as strange, a nerdy little brother of The Pint, a pop culture podcast. And I don't say that because they might drop bombs from afar. This is totally not, it's just what it is. And with all of that said and done, one final missile for the masses: be decent to one another.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. And thanks, everybody in the chat. You made this a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is great. Thanks to everybody for coming out. This is awesome.
And Ronnie, sorry for the Putin talk. It's all right,
okay.
Ronnie.
And then Big Gun's also saying that we're late too.
Yeah. A couple minutes.
Yeah.
But to be fair, we didn't know we were live.
And this show's never on time because this show is based around my son actually getting his butt to bed. And when you guys can tell me the secrets of getting a 9-year-old to going to bed on time and not fighting me for an hour, find me on social media and at the email at the end of the episode. So, oh man. So Dagon's been waiting. Yeah, he's a good dude. He used to do live videos and stuff. I hope he does some more again in the future. He's a good dude. So his boys are all grown up.